Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, could you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Yes, it's Jared Zwickey. That's Jared. Last name is Zwickey.
Your Honor, may the deputy pass the witness a document that has been shown to the district attorney's office. Sir, is that a copy of your professional resume?
Yes, sir, it is.
I'd like that marked the next, Your Honor, with your permission, the next sequentially marked exhibit.
So the two-page resume of the wiki has exhibit 36.
Sir, we're going to briefly go over your experience, training, and education. We are going to give, not that it's not important, but we are going to give, for lack of a better word, the Cliff Note version, all right?
Yes, sir.
Since you're not shy about these things, how old are you?
I'll be 81 this year.
I say that only because I hope for myself. How long have you been in law enforcement?
I served 38 years in law enforcement.
And have you been a chief of police before?
Yes, I have in 2 organizations.
All right. Have you attended college training put on by different law enforcement organizations in order to become proficient in your chosen field of expertise?
Yes, I have.
Have you also provided training to different law enforcement organizations, again, in those same fields of your expertise that we'll be talking about more of?
I have, yes.
Have you trained, for example, the FBI?
I have.
Have you trained the Secret Service?
I have.
Have you trained the Los Angeles Police Department?
Some members of the Los Angeles Police Department, yes.
And having gotten to know you for a number of years, you've trained officers and police departments across the country, from the Northeast all the way down to Texas to California, in areas of deadly force. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Defensive tactics.
Yes.
By the way, give us a thumbnail version of what is defensive tactics.
Well, defensive tactics, actually, it's a misnomer. It's defensive tactics plus arrest control techniques. It's the ability to teach people how to arrest somebody and get them under control. And the other part of that, the defense, is defense of yourself and others with either weapons or with your hands.
And do you carry a number of, I'm going to call them certifications, do you carry a number of skill sets as it relates to martial arts and fighting skills?
I do. I have been fortunate enough to acquire 3 black belts in 3 different systems. One would be a Chinese system. The second one would be modern arnis, which came from the Philippines, which is double stick fighting, or with sticks or with machetes. And with Bajak, karate came out of the South Koreans, is a dagger set teaching a defense with 2 daggers. They all pretty much intertwine. And then along with some Aikido training that I first studied back in 1964, 1965 with Los Angeles police instructor who was an Aikido expert as well.
Only because I'm short and fat. Does that explain why you were in such good shape?
Yes, sir, I practice every day.
Every morning. I have to wait till you're done before I call you. Is that right?
Absolutely, sir.
All right. Now, you, not only have you been a police chief, but have you also been a SWAT team member?
Yes, I have. Actually, I worked on the SWAT team for over 20 years.
And have you been a SWAT team commander?
I have been, yes.
Did you, let me back up one bit. Have you been qualified as an expert in the field of defensive tactics human factors, arrest techniques in state courts across the country?
I have, yes.
Have you been qualified as an expert to testify, give opinions in the areas of body cam and whole cam videos in order to render opinions regarding the appropriate level of force that a respective officer or officers have administered?
Yes.
Do you have an estimate on how many times you've been qualified and testified in live court as an expert in those areas?
Boy, that's pretty hard to give you an exact figure.
Best estimate.
I'm just going to estimate probably over 90 times during my entire career.
How many federal courts have you been so qualified to testify as an expert?
Once again, I think that's a little hard to go back over 50 years, but I would say probably at least a quarter or more of those cases that I testified in over the years.
And have you been qualified in the Sixth Circuit, which includes Tennessee, in the U.S. federal court as an expert in those areas?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And briefly, tell us what is known in the area of court testimony, court expert testimony, as a friend of the court. What is a friend of the court?
Well, my understanding of friend of the court was or is when an individual has a certain expertise, is asked by the court to offer the court an opinion. Basically, like my field would have been use of force.
Have you been asked to serve as a friend of the court by the courts, to serve as a friend of the court, to actually provide them expert opinions in federal court?
I have, and I believe it was 1987 in the San Francisco Federal Court regarding major issues that we were having with the war protesters at the Concord Naval Weapons Station.
And that had to do, if I remember correctly, I don't mean to lead you, but having examined you before, that had to do with active resistance and passive resistance. Is that right?
Yes, that was helping the court to understand what the ground rules were going to be for what is a passive, what is an active resistor, and what level of force any of us in the law enforcement community could use when we were making arrests.
All right. Now, being a police chief and all those other things, have you also served on what is called the post commission?
Yes, I have.
And the post commission, give a layman's definition of what the post commission is for the jury.
Well, post-commission basically sets the standards for training for law enforcement officers throughout the state of California. There's about 40, I think, at the time, 43 different academies throughout the state, some at universities, some at law enforcement agencies. And there are about 43 different categories of instruction. And the state of California, through post, then make sure that every one of those categories of instruction are certified, and that people who are teaching those domains, learning domains, are qualified to teach it.
And you served in that capacity for how long?
Well, let's see, from 1997 to about 2011, I was the academy director at one of the university or a junior college. And we had the post committee, so I had to serve during that time as a subject matter expert for use of force, firearms. And then we also participated in developing not only the curriculum for those, but also for role-playing exercises and computer training for the academy students as well.
And have you, number one, testified as an expert in the area of what is referred to within your industry as human factors?
I have. Yes.
What is a layman's definition of the analysis of human factors?
Well, basically put, there's some real basic factors such as what we refer to as tunnel vision. The second thing is auditory exclusion, what you hear and what you feel, and then there are environmental factors. And every one of those factors are looked at in all aspects of law enforcement investigations, whether it be traffic accidents, whether it be plane crashes, whether it be fatal accidents, where we have to reconstruct maybe what the driver saw or how the driver reacted, were they under the influence, to basic mechanical defects of a vehicle. So we're looking at all those factors plus environmental, what were the lighting conditions at the time of a particular incident, and what type of an incident was it, because that type of an incident really dictates what kind of an emotional response that the individual officer, a suspect, and witnesses will go through when they're involved in those kind of encounters.
Have you performed and exercised that expertise first level or first option as an investigator of an incident? In other words, where you come on to investigate and conclude what happened in an incident?
Yes, you have to.
And have you also used that training, skill, experience, and education in giving expert opinions to law enforcement agencies or the courts in areas of human factors?
I have, as well as individual officers to not only experienced officers, but new officers coming into the business, to let them know basically that an arrest situation is not only a physical one, but it's a mental one as well. And they have to go through the steps of things like anger. How do you control anger? And how do you control excitement? If you're involved in a possible shooting situation, how are you going to stop that rapid breathing? So we try to not really inoculate an officer to those things, but to just make them aware and try to give them some techniques how to reduce that level of stress that they're going to be going through.
And have you been asked by the FBI to give this type of training or inoculation, as you call it? Have you been asked by the FBI to provide that type of human factors training and advice to their own FBI agents?
Yeah, not directly. I didn't have to go to the academy to do that, but through our training. Every training that I give, whether it be hands-on training with a defensive technique, how to defend yourself, whether it's a baton, which is the training I gave to the HRT, which is a hostage rescue team out of San Francisco. They're training with a baton because nobody had taught them that.
So the record is clear, the hostage rescue team out of San Francisco for what agency?
For the FBI.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Things that they have to be careful of as well, and part of that is the emotional control of your anger when you're striking somebody. You have to keep things in reference.
Were you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, it seems like you have a lot of irons in the fire, and here you are testifying on behalf of Justin Smith. Are you paid for your time to provide expert consultation and advice and testimony?
I am just like every other expert, and the attorneys that are here today, yes, I do get paid for my services.
Okay. Of all the courts that we've talked about, of all the agencies we've talked about or you've talked about, have you ever been declined or denied or refused by any court in this country, federal or state, to testify as an expert in the areas you've listed?
No, sir, I have not.
I'm going to tender this witness as an expert on behalf of Justin Smith in the areas listed thus far in the record, Your Honor.
Can you list them off?
I knew you'd do something.
So we talked about a whole bunch of expertise.
That's just do it short. Defensive tactics, human factors, deadly force, police training, police officer training, investigations of critical incidents. And if I left one out, Your Honor, I might have to come back and get a mulligan. All right.
Any objection to those classifications?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll show these tender.
Now, by the way, did I list the appropriate areas for this case that you're here testifying for?
I think so, with maybe one exception is all of the digital analysis.
See? Tell us what background you have as it relates to digital and video analysis and when you used it, sir.
Thank you. Actually, when I first started in 1974 with training and for investigations of critical incidents, the only readily available digital type of information was surveillance cameras. And it wasn't until 2012, actually, when the body camera was first introduced in California and was starting to be used by law enforcement. So that was my first encounters. It started out with some civilian use of surveillance cameras, and it involved, if I might just explain briefly, a shooting incident by a Anchorage police officer who was parked in a parking lot, happened to see a gentleman come out with a rifle, and he was pointing it at several individuals nearby, and he feared for their life and took a shot at the individual, missed him, and the whole controversy was, why did the officer acted so recklessly? And when I looked at the surveillance camera, I found that it didn't show anything of these people off to the right-hand side of where the officer was. And then I later learned that it was only one frame every second. And if that filming rate was 1 frame per second, there was all those other frames missing. And I had to call in an expert from the company to clarify that.
Let me, thank you. You know, when we were kids and we take the edge of a book and we draw a picture of a guy about to jump his bicycle over a ramp, and then on the next page we move that bicycle up a little bit more, and then the next page you do a little bit more. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely, yeah.
Everybody over the age of 60 probably knows what I'm talking about. And then you flip the pages and it makes like a little old Disney stick cartoon, doesn't it?
That's correct.
In between each one of those pages is what you're talking about, the frame rate. Is that right?
That's right, referred to as frame rate.
Okay. So what are the drawbacks, for lack of a better word, deficiencies in today's modern poll cams like we have in this case?
Right. Well, I think I basically answered that question one way, is because in that earlier shooting, there was only 1 frame per second, so other things were missed.
Are you familiar with the frames per second rate of the Tennessee Memphis Police Department poll cams in operation?
I am. I'm not sure exactly what the initial frame rate was when it was filmed, but when it eventually goes to a central receiving and is processed and digitized, because it's sending over by radio frequency. It's not like a camera that immediately is recorded here. It has to be transmitted over a long distance. That frame rate may have been 16 frames per second, but by the time it's produced, it's 8 frames per second, which was what the SkyCap camera was at the time of this incident.
Good. Now, because it may have started out or had the capabilities of 16 frames per second, but because it's transmitting that images over radio frequency back to headquarters, your research discovered that it was being dropped to about 8 frames per second.
That's correct.
And then body-worn cameras, Axon body-worn cameras issued to MPD police officers, what frame rate are they?
They're 30 frames per second.
That's 30 frames per second, right?
That's correct.
Now, even I can figure out that is a clearer or more precise measurements, is that right? Or film taking?
Well, it's even above what they call the national standard. National standard's 24. This camera will run anywhere from 24 to 30. can be reduced. But 24 is the standard. 30 makes it really smooth and clear and easy for everybody to see.
Now, you told us what the drawback is of pole cams, and that is clarity. By the way, is focus also a problem with pole cams?
Focus, and the other fact is it's so far away. If you've got like in the pole cam, it is what they call PT. It's a pan and tilt. It only has so much focus that you can make, and then the quality of it at that distance diminishes. And even with a light sensor in the camera, you get more of a darker, grainy type of a picture that you're looking at. It's
But-
what we've been looking at here.
But it's the best we got in this case. But I was asking you, the body worn camera is much better, is that right?
It is much better, yes.
But there are drawbacks to the use of body worn cameras, aren't there?
There is, not only body-worn cameras, but as well as the surveillance.
Yeah, we've already talked about surveillance.
Yes.
I'm moving on to body worn cameras. Body worn camera, just give me the 6 or 7 highest deficiencies of the body worn cameras that's utilized by the Memphis Police Department.
Best way I can describe it is the fact that the body camera is normally kept here on the chest. And whenever we look at whatever that image is being projected, we make an assumption, sometimes falsely, that the officer is looking exactly where this is. Anywhere where I turn, that camera will be looking at you, but I may be looking over here at the council. Okay? It doesn't help the officer feel a suspect's hand. You won't see if there's any tension that the officer feels when he grabs a suspect's hand. That's not recorded on here. You'll see the hand, and you'll see the officer holding that hand, but you'll never feel the resistance through a camera. Those are some real basic things. And lastly, if I may,
Oh, I'm sorry.
is because the body camera is attached to the officer, whenever there is a disturbance fight and I'm trying to turn and grab a suspect, what you get is a blurred image. And then you're really not going to see what happened. And the last thing is, if the movement of this camera for an individual that somebody is dealing with is faster than 1/3 of a second, again, 1/3 of a second, that may be like 10 frames of what this is recording, you'll never see it. And there's only one way to see it. You have to slow it down to a 1 frame per second interval in order for us to see what that image was.
And you've been here all week listening to the testimony, have you not?
I have, yes.
And Officer Mills was called to the stand, and based upon his testimony initially saying that when he came up on Bean and Smith, those two fellas, it looked like they were throwing punches or whatever. And then Mr. Perry cross-examined him and slowed up on the TV screen it down to just half speed. And then Mr. Mills testified, you were here, that they did not hit him in the face or the head. They were hitting his wrist and hands. Were you there for that?
I was, yes.
But your computer program, or what I call a computer program, your player program actually breaks each frame down into 1/60th. Is that correct?
Partially. It's
Okay.
actually, I do have a software that allows me to take a recording like that image and slow it down to 1/30th of a second. If my camera is at 1/30th, I can slow it down to 1/30th. If the camera is at 24 frames, it will slow it down to 24 frames. If it's 8 frames, the software will slow it down to 8 frames per second. So across that spectrum, I can.
Right, I
Yeah.
use big numbers, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
But even using Mr. Perry's Flintstone version of just slowing it down to half, you saw what we saw, is that right? They never made contact with the face or head.
Oh, clearly, yes.
As it relates to slapping at the hands, as you saw in that video, is that a defensive tactic?
Oh, well, it is if I'm trying to reach somebody's hands to get them out of the way so I can grab them. Yeah.
What is a distraction slap?
It could be a variety of things. It could be to any part of the body, could be close to the face. I may not ever have to touch your face, it's just flip up towards your eyes and it can distract you for a moment. That's a
suspect.
distraction, a suspect, right.
And does it not also trigger the reaction of the suspect if their hands are down here and you do a distraction slap? Does it sometimes bring their hands up to guard their face?
Oh, absolutely.
Is that what you saw in the video with Tyre Nichols?
Yes, it was.
Is that what your conclusion is as an expert as it relates to what Bean and Smith were doing over Nichols trying to get his hands?
Based on my experience and training, absolutely.
All right, now, more administrative, I call it administrative. As part of your working for Mr. Smith, have you reviewed all of the Memphis Police Department training that Mr. Smith received at the Memphis Police Department Academy?
I have, yes.
And unless you have an objection to it or unless you have a problem with it, was the training that Justin Smith received, did it meet the standards nationally of law enforcement training?
That's a difficult question because on paper it does look like the standards of post within the state of Tennessee were met. But whether or not they actually performed all those, I wasn't present during all of those training sessions. I couldn't give you that kind of an answer.
All right. Bear with me. Mr. Attorney, what I'm doing is I'm going to go to here. Here's what I'm doing. I'm going to that. It's 25, 24, 28, 6, which is less than 3 minutes. And that is only Justice Smith's day. Okay. Judge, I just want to make sure that I get only that, and so again, if everyone can be patient with me for a moment. Right now, I'm muted, I'm not projecting it, I'm just getting it to the right spot. Any of you guys just let me know. Hmm? Judge, I am paused where I need to be, and it's unmuted at 100%. So I'm going to do what I've been told by Miss Rebecca to project it. I can't believe it. May I proceed, Judge?
This video you all already seen. They're just timestamp on it.
I'm gonna get it when it gets to Mr. Justin Smith. All right, before I hit play, you reviewed what is commonly referred to at the Memphis Police Department Training Academy as the Bad Bob video, is that right?
I did, yes.
And in order to set some groundwork, the officers are sprayed with one shot of OC spray in one eye, which the eyelid is closed when they're shot with the shot. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the other eye is covered, they call it a tactical L, that keeps it even off the eyelid. Is that right?
Yes.
And do you recognize the person that's in that video that I'm about to play?
Yes, I do.
Who is it?
Justin Smith.
All right, I'm going to hit play and let it proceed through, okay? It's only, what did I say, it was 2 minutes, Your Honor?
This is starting at, for the record, it's starting at 25 seconds, excuse me, 25 2524.
Yes, 2524, and we were going to go through 2806.
Yeah, you good? Yes, sir. Good? Yes, sir. All right, do you take well? Sir. Do you take well? Shut your eye, hold your breath. Hold it. Control yourself, take a breath, open your eye. Don't whine, shit!
Maintain your composure, recruit. Maintain your composure.
You gotta control yourself. What is your name?
Justin Smith, sir.
What's your IBM?
13999.
Where are you from?
Arkansas, what's in Arkansas?
Who's the commander of the Memphis Police Department Training Academy?
Commander, sir.
Who's the commander of the Memphis Police Department Training Academy?
Commander, Lieutenant Dan, I don't know, sir.
You don't know the commander of the Memphis Police Department Training Academy? Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Rudolph.
Rudolph, sir.
How many fingers small enough?
KC, sir.
Open your eyes, you gotta look. Don't wipe, I'm gonna spray you in the face.
Hold on, sir.
Smith, get it together. Control yourself. It burns, that's it. Breathe. Open your eyes. How many fingers small enough? Don't wipe.
Look, like 6.
It's not 6. Look.
Fuck.
As long as you stand there, as long as it burns. Compose yourself.
3.
3.
Yes, sir.
You see that Bob?
Yes, sir.
Look at it. Don't fight it. Don't fight that Bob. Open your eyes so you can see. Don't walk like a blind man.
Grab behind the neck. Stop fighting! Stop fighting! Stop fighting! Stop fighting! Stop fighting! Stop fighting!
Smack him.
No!
With your elbow. With your elbow.
Stop
Go ahead and
fighting!
hit him with that other elbow.
No! Stop fighting!
Okay, give him some kneecap.
Stop fighting! Stop fighting! Stop
There
fighting!
you go. Shit. Give him the other knee. Give him that other knee.
Stop fighting! Stop
There you go. There you go.
No!
Give him some more elbow.
Stop fighting! Stop fighting!
Okay, handcuff. Handcuff. Go get Bob on the ground. Open your eyes so you see where he's going.
Yeah. Come on. Open your eyes. Get the bag. Put your hand on your back, sir. I'll do it. Put your hand back in your hand, sir. Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to minimize this. All right, minimize it again somehow. All right. You watched that training?
I did.
You've watched that training before?
I have.
You've gotten to know Justin Smith as part of me, for lack of a better word, hiring you. Is that right?
I'm sorry, get your last part?
You got to know Justin Smith, have you not?
Yes, sir, I have.
Was he out of control there with one shot of OC in his face?
Oh, absolutely.
And it was amongst friendly people, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That experience, the OC spray, is that similar to what Justin Smith experienced at Bear Creek and Castlegate?
No.
I know what you're, okay.
Yeah,
What was, let's do it another way.
yes.
The effects, the physiological effects of only one shot of OC spray in one eye, was that a much less troublesome or harmful series of events?
Oh, absolutely.
How so?
Well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he had at least 3 exposures to the face
When?
during the struggle with
Mr. Nichols.
Mr. Nichols. That's correct.
So he had 3 experiences of OC spray there at Bear Creek and Castlegate
That's correct.
with a subject who had or had not been searched for weapons.
Your Honor, basis of knowledge.
If you can just lay the foundation as far as what you would know from the videos.
But I'm not going to be limited to the video. Have you reviewed the investigation of the Memphis Police Department and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, as well as the FBI and the Department of Justice as it relates to each and every act of Justin Smith and Tyre Nichols on January 7th?
Yes, I have.
So are you familiar with those facts?
Yes, I am.
So how many times did Justin Smith get shot in the eye with pepper spray?
At least 3 times on the scene.
And was Tyre Nichols ever searched during the entire process?
No, he was not. That I could see. Or know of.
Did you see any documentation that he'd been searched?
Absolutely none.
And you've heard sworn testimony that he was never searched, right?
I have, yes.
So do you have any reason to believe that Tyre Nichols was searched?
None at all.
Until a suspect is in handcuffs and searched for weapons, is the scene secure?
No, it's not.
What Justin Smith dealt with at Bear Creek and Castlegate, was that an unsecure, dangerous scene?
Absolutely it was.
Does Justin Smith wear glasses to your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. Let's go to the Did you review the Memphis Police Department use of force policy as well as the force continuum?
I have, yes.
Now, I'm going to show you just the cover page of it.
Okay.
I'm an officer of the court sworn to not mislead the court. You've reviewed the Memphis Police Department use of force policy, is that right?
I have many
It's
times.
been provided to us in discovery.
Yes.
I would ask that that be the next sequentially numbered exhibit. It's about that thick, Your Honor. We'll take care of it.
Do we have something to mark?
We do not. What?
I thought we entered some policy with,
I was told earlier it had not been admitted yet, so maybe I misheard. I'm sorry.
I have the policies and procedures.
Check exhibit
Okay.
15.
Let's move on. It sounds like it's already in evidence. The jury will later be able to see it.
There's only 2 pages of it. It's only definition.
Back to what I was saying then. I would like the Memphis Police Department use of force policy as well as the force continuum is moved into evidence as an exhibit, and it's going to have to be late filed so that we can print it off on 8.5 by 11 paper.
Put a marker.
Yes, sir.
As exhibit 37, the MPD policies and procedures.
Yes. It appears to be 13 pages, Your Honor. I'm going to go now to a video, and I'm going to hit pause so that we don't accidentally do anything, okay? Have you watched all of the body-worn camera and all of the poll cam videos provided by the state of Tennessee, the Department of Justice, to us in discovery?
I have, yes.
And one of those includes the Chris Wilson body-worn camera. Does that ring a bell for you?
Yes.
All right. Come on. Hang it. All right. This is one of the videos that we just put in, but, all right. May I proceed? Yes, sir. This video I have marked here is 8 minutes, 51 seconds. Sir, at times I will stop during this video to ask you a question, okay?
Yes.
You want to do the lights, Judge?
That'd be right.
Yeah. you see from where you are, Mr. Zwickey?
I can.
Do you see Justin Smith in that video?
I do on the far right-hand side.
And Justin Smith, for his tactical bulletproof vest, has 2 reflective strips on his rib cage. Is that right?
That's correct.
Justin Smith also had white bottom tennis shoes on. Is that right?
That's correct.
And before this scene depicted, what did Justin Smith have on his head?
He had a ball cap on.
Like a baseball hat?
That's correct.
Did he have glasses on before this incident?
He had glasses as well, yes.
All right, I'm gonna hit play.
Come on, together, on the other side.
You're familiar with Justin Smith's voice, aren't you?
I am.
Is that Justin Smith we hear yelling out?
It was.
That might be like, with the palms running down from the wall. They always so bad. You know, one stop. Stop. I'm talking about the tape folks out. On oncoming traffic and everything.
So the car pump need to come down to you, or are you bringing it back down here?
Come down here, come here, bring it down here.
Walk.
Are you familiar with Justin Smith's voice?
Yes.
Who was that telling Hemphill or 2938 to bring the paramedics down?
To bring down for Mr.
Who
Nichols.
was it?
It was Smith,
Justin.
Justin Smith.
Smith. What's up, man? Good? Yeah. I seen him. When he turned around, if he was tanks, I said, "Hey, man, extend them off with the night to Darwin." Give on run. He feel like he can cut this shit out. Y'all want him to bring him down there? Bring him down there. Bring him down there. Come on, man. I got sprayed too. Oh, yeah, my shit. Appreciate y'all, man. Oh, what's up, man? Yeah. Man, that man took out running down the fucking street, man. Hold on, what y'all feel? Right here. I couldn't see no more. Well, you said that we went.
By the way, just for clarity's sake, I stopped at 20, 40, 39. The person on my right-hand side of the screen, you recognize as who?
I believe it's Officer Martin.
The one on the right side.
Yes?
Mr. Haley,
All right.
could you stand up?
Oh, that's Haley. Yes, I'm sorry.
All right, stand. And then the bald-headed fella, stocky fella on the left side of the frame, who is that?
It looks like Officer Mills.
All right. And I'll try not to hit pause again, but in your review of this, you got to learn what Lieutenant Dwayne Smith looked like too, right?
I think I know what he looks like, yes.
Starting again.
He wiped his face. He wiped his face. Right.
Have you also come to recognize the white fella with the American flag on his left shoulder as Robert Long from the Memphis Fire Department?
Yes.
Starting again at 2041:11. Since we're doing it for everybody else, you see the guy with the beanie on his head, and he's got his left thumb underneath his bulletproof vest. Do you recognize that to be Tadarius B?
Yes.
By the way, how many active critical scenes, fatality shootings have you been to in your career in law enforcement?
Boy, I'd be lying if I told you I knew exactly how many, but quite a few.
More than 100?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know the term, what hot wash means?
No?
Adrenaline dump?
Oh, yes.
As you see these officers interacting with everybody in a, I don't know, a weird kind of vibe, they're talking, is that something you would expect to find at a critical incident at the conclusion of it?
Yes, I heard that many times. It's a release from all the tension that they've gone through.
It's,
Your Honor, I would just ask that Mr. Zumach remember it's his witness, he's leading quite a bit.
Rephrase the question.
I'd respond that I'm not, but I'll continue. I'll do it the right way. I've done it long enough. I can figure it out.
Thanks, sir.
You've seen Mr. Smith in this video, is that right?
Yes.
That last statement made by that last voice. First, do you recognize the voice that
Yes.
was just heard?
Yes, Justin Smith.
And did you hear what he asked? I'll be glad to replay it for you again if you'd like.
Would you please?
All right. Because I don't want to lead. We'll just take as long as we need, okay?
Yes.
Did you hear that?
No, sir, I'm sorry. I can't pick that up.
Do you need to move closer?
I could try.
Did you hear that Mr. Smith asked a question of someone?
Yes, I could, but I could not hear his articulation of what he said.
All right, I'll move on.
Okay.
All right, without leading you, sir, you see a man with a very disheveled looking beanie on his head standing there, second man in from the right margin.
Yes.
Who is that?
I believe that is Lieutenant Smith.
Thank you. The record reflects he's identified a man with a beanie on his head arriving on the scene at 20:43:35 as Lieutenant Smith. Proceeding.
Hello? Read it again. I think you did.
When you pause, do you see Mr. Tyre Nichols in that image?
Yes, I do.
And what position is he in?
He's in a seated position against the side of Justin Smith's patrol car.
We are at 20:44:26. Moving forward. Did you just see Tyre Nichols make a movement?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you see a black man with a baseball hat on, and you see the white man you had earlier identified as Robert Long of the Memphis Fire Department. Is that right?
Yes.
As Mr. Nichols fell over to his right, did you see the medical providers attempt to catch him?
No.
You want to watch it again?
No, I can answer the question.
Well, I want to watch it. Is Mr. Nichols conversing with the two medical providers?
Doesn't sound like it.
You see anybody attempt to keep his head from hitting the ground?
Yes. Pulled the bag away so that allowed him to just drop to the ground.
Going forward at 20:44:33. Were you able to capture or see with your eyes the suspect just a moment ago?
Yes.
Was he still laying on his side?
Yes, it remained there.
What is the recovery or supine position when it comes to emergency medical treatment?
It would be still upright against the car,
as he was originally.
yes.
You see Mr. Nichols there in that? You see Mr. Nichols?
No. I think he's
Do you see
still
the
laying
flashlight?
down.
What?
I said, I can't see him up against the car. I can only see his, what appears to be part of his body still laying on the ground.
Keep an eye on it. Bear with me. Is that better? Do you see Mr. Tyre Nichols' head right there?
I do.
Where is it?
It's still on the ground right next to the bag that was pulled out from beneath
That was
his
at
head.
2045:48 where I pointed it out earlier, but you do see it, right?
I do.
Move on. I have played it through the Wilson body cam through 20:45:48. I'm going to show you, but before I show you, I want to ask you, I know you've already said it, but out of an abundance of caution, did you review all body-worn cameras involved in this investigation?
Yes, I did.
Did you review Officer Martin's body-worn camera regarding the attempted traffic stop?
Yes.
I would draw your attention to the screen for you to confirm or deny that this is Emmett Martin's attempt at a traffic stop. All right, I have stopped the Axon body cam counter at 20:22:25, and in the bottom left-hand corner toolbar, it shows 42 seconds from its beginning. Is that correct or incorrect?
Correct.
So if you will you monitor the best you can the length of time Emmett Martin had his blue lights on? All right, it's off. It appears the blue lights are off. Correct or incorrect?
They're off, yes.
And what I see on the screen is the Axon body camera counter of 20:22:56, and in the bottom left or bottom toolbar, it shows 1 minute and 14 seconds have elapsed. So as not to suggest to you the answer, can you do the mathematics, please? and tell me how long Mr. Martin had his blue lights on.
Well, it looks like it's over a minute. I can't add that
Yeah.
right up, but
Do you remember the first number we started at?
yeah, it started
42?
at 27 seconds and it wound up at 54 seconds.
Without leading you, the first number that the record will reflect that I told you the blue lights come out was at 42 seconds in the lower left-hand corner.
Correct.
We are now at 1:14. So would that be, give or take, 30 seconds?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Continuing on.
I'm ripping there.
That video ends at 20:23:15, a total elapsed time of 1 minute and 32 seconds of that traffic, or what you just had depicted for you on the screen. Is that right?
That's correct.
By the way, Judge, that what we just saw is part of that collective exhibit, but had not been shown prior to today. Is that right? All right, sir. It's a long video. Very important to us here in this courtroom. So I'm going to play for you the MPD poll cam. Have you reviewed this poll cam video before?
Yes.
Approximately how many times have you reviewed this poll cam video?
Seems like over about 50, 60 to 100 times.
All right. Do you have some points within the poll cam that you wanted to call my attention to so that you can tell me to hit stop?
I do.
Okay, I just want to make sure. We don't want to tie up anyone's time by fishing around for it, okay?
Right.
So I'm going to hit play, and you tell me what you need me to do.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Okay.
And the spots you're going to stop us at are matters within your expertise. Is that right?
Correct.
All right.
Mr. Zuma, if I could have you pause the video.
Oh, yes, sir.
Before we get in this line of questions, as it may be a little bit, is there anybody in the juror that needs a break? All right, seeing none. All right, you can proceed.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we momentarily stopped it at, when you know it, locked off up there. You're just going to trust me, right? All right, hitting play at, what is that up there in the top of the screen where we can't see the time? What kind of did make it go away? Huh? Judge, the problem is, for some reason, it's probably my fault, but there's something that says connected to Elmo Cast, and we probably need to get that off so that we can see the, huh? Just take it off full screen. All right.
Right.
Right here. It's still up there. See it up there?
Yeah.
Can I drag it? Because it might be important now to be able to read the times. Mr. Stengel, feel free to sit back in your seat. That's great. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ms. Tanisha. All right, Hitting what?
That you minimize for the time stamp.
If we want to go off this version, because earlier when I was on this version, somebody said big screen it, so all right. We are at 203235. I want to ask you something. I've stopped it at 203326. Trying to anyway. Do you see lights reflecting off that brick mailbox cover?
Yes,
In your studies of these videos, did that indicate anything to you?
yes.
What was it?
Indicate there's a vehicle coming in and it's reflecting off from the headlights.
Based upon the, what I'm gonna call the wristwatch time of 20:33:31, that's 8:33 p.m. and 31 seconds, is that right?
Yes,
Based upon timelines that we know from first traffic stop, the 6705 poll cam, and when the call went out from Mills chasing the suspect, is it safe to say that the confrontation with Tyre Nichols is actually going on right now outside this screen?
yes,
All right. And so that the jury understands how it is that this camera is moving around. Where is this camera controlled from?
that particular camera is controlled from a pole mounted up in the sky. And it is not a fixed position. It is what I mentioned earlier, a pan and tilt. It can move. But this particular view is off to the left and it will be cycled
You
to the right.
misunderstood my question. Who
Maybe I
panned
did.
it? I said you misunderstood my question.
Yes, sir.
Who panned it and who tilted it?
It would be somebody in the control center,
Back at headquarters.
at headquarters,
That's what I was trying
not
to-
at the scene, yes.
All right, hit the play at 203331.
And pause.
Did I do it at the right time?
Okay. That's where it'll start.
Okay. Told me to hit pause. Tell me if you see, as for what you're here testifying about as an expert, do you see anything significant in that frame?
What I see, obviously, where the cars are parked, and I see the officers, three officers standing. Can't quite make out from. Yeah, I see the other officer. I believe that's Officer Mills off to the right-hand side, the other side of Justin Smith's patrol car.
I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way. You see that car that's pointing left and right?
Yes, sir.
Is that the car that the headlight reflections were on the mailbox?
I believe it was. Yes.
And see the car is pointing the different direction toward that Mercedes camper?
Yes.
Whose car is that?
Justin Smith.
All right, next, see the fella that's standing like this, kind of split-legged, with his back to the camera?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize that person?
Officer Martin.
Okay, now, do you see the fella just up and to the left from Emmett Martin that has tennis shoes on?
Yes, that's Justin Smith.
You see the fella on the ground, we know who that is. And the fella standing just behind the fella on the ground, who is that?
That's Officer Bean.
All right. Then you see a bald-headed fella far to the right behind Emmett Martin's car. Do you see that person?
Yes,
And who is that?
Officer Mills.
All right, so right now, just for the record, what officers are on the scene at 203348? Run through them again.
Officer Martin, Officer Mills, Officer Bean, and Officer Smith.
All right. And of course, the suspect.
And Mr. Nichols, yes.
Hitting play at 203348, and I believe you've told me to stop it at 3405. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right, I'm gonna do my best.
Pause. Very good.
What of significance is in that scene for your testimony today?
What was significant to me is I was able to see two officers depart from the scene. One would be Officer Mills on the right-hand side, and then Officer Martin going towards his vehicle, which you'll see at the driver's side right front fender, or left front fender. And you have two officers that are still bending over Mr. Nichols. One is Officer Smith, the other one's Officer Bean. And then during that time frame that eclipsed, Officer Smith stood up, put his head up in the air, walked away from Mr. Nichols while Mr. Bean was still watching Mr. Nichols on the ground, and looked up in the direction of that particular stop sign, street sign, and remained there for a short period of time, went back to the position next to Officer Bean and actually placed his hands, paused for a minute, and then bent right back over to Mr. Nichols and began to try to do something to control him.
To control who?
Mr. Nichols.
In that image that you had me stop on, are Mr. Nichols' hands secured?
No, they're not.
Is Mr. Nichols bladed? Bladed on one hip?
Yes, he's on one side of his body, which would be the right side at this point.
And is there any significance of a suspect blading his body? If so, what is that significance?
Yeah, it is significant to me in terms of, I've seen it before with other suspects trying to control them. It's a position where it could be for an exit to get away from another officer. It's you're positioning your body both for fighting as well as trying to get up off of that ground. And it'll become evident in other video frames of what I'm talking about.
All right, I'm going to hit play at 203405, and I believe you want me to stop at 203419.
19, correct.
Just so the jury and all of us, the person walking back up to Nichols on the ground that his back is to us, is that who?
That's Officer Martin.
All right, I'm sorry for stopping early. Stopped early again, didn't I?
Yes, sir.
What did Martin just do?
But that's okay, we can do that.
What did Martin just do?
He just did a soccer-type kick to his upper part of his body. Can't see exactly where that landed, but in that direction.
But my client, Justin Smith, can you see what he was doing while that was going on?
Yes, he's still bending over Mr. Nichols at the time that the strike was made.
Bending over, doing what?
Well, I can't tell exactly what his hands are doing, but he's trying to control Mr. Nichols on the ground with his hands.
Hitting play at 3414.
All right, stop.
I went too far?
That's fine.
Okay. What is significant of where you had me stop?
In addition to that, what you saw is the movement from Mr. Nichols. He went from his right side back to his back side, and then he'll flip over again over to his right side. And then you saw the positioning of Officer Martin. To me, that's pretty important. because I watched him throughout this entire set of frames, is what he was doing and how he was moving as the officers were trying to control him. Him meaning Mr. Nichols.
Based upon your expert analysis of video imaging, police tactics, Justin Smith, you see him there?
I do.
His legs are spread, he's over beyond 90 degrees. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would.
Can he see? Is it even possible for him to see Emmett Martin from that spot?
In my opinion, no.
All right. Moving on from 2034-21, I think you want me to stop at 2034-50, is that right?
That's correct.
We saw another kick there, didn't we?
Yes, you
That's
did.
leading. Strike that question.
Pause.
All right. I did.
It's okay.
During that last snippet, for lack of a better word, you've had me stop at 2034-52. What of significance, in your opinion? have you
Once
seen?
again, it shows the continual movement by Mr. Nichols on the ground. And he wasn't passive at that point. He was continuing to resist. And I can tell what Officer Smith is doing. He's trying to grab his left hand and apply a handcuff to it. And I think it's either at this point or shortly thereafter, he manages to get one handcuff on that left wrist.
So the record is clear. Who's he? Who is
He, again, meaning Mr.
Justin.
Nichols. And he meaning Officer Smith.
Okay, so again, so the record's clear. What police officer's got the handcuff trying to get it on Mr. Nichols' left arm?
Justin Smith.
All right, and do we see that in this image?
We do. I see it, yes.
All right, I'm gonna hit play at 34:52, and I think you want me to stop at 35:19, is that right?
That's correct, sir. Stop.
All right, stop. During that snippet from 20:35:05 there-ish to 20:35:19, what did you see of significance from the standpoint of your expert opinion?
Without having to go frame by frame for you to see it, what I saw was Mr. Nichols position his body off the right-hand side and start to move his lower part of his legs, his left leg. And I saw Officer Smith pull up on the handcuff. He's got one hand on the left wrist. And he's trying to position
Who
the
is
body,
he?
excuse me, he's trying to position Mr.
Who is he? If you use the word he,
I
please
said
identify the
Officer
person.
Smith was trying to position Tyre Nichols into a forward motion onto the ground. And as he was trying to do that, you'll see a struggle where the arm will go back up again. That's Mr. Nichols pushing off in one direction against Officer Smith. And then Tyre Nichols managed to get up off the ground in a rather quick manner before Justin Smith could push him on the ground, and began to move to his left. And
Move to whose left?
moved to his left.
Who's his? Who is his?
Still talking about Tyre Nichols moving towards his left. Okay? You can also see the position of Justin Smith's left foot going off to the left-hand side. And they follow Mr. Nichols, they meaning the other officers, which would be Officer Martin and Officer Mills, around into a counterclockwise position. And you'll see, if we were to go back and play that over again, you'll see Officer Bean grabbing a hold of Mr. Nichols and pulling him backwards as Justin Smith is trying to grab both of his hands now up front and pulling him in another direction. So in essence, he basically made a circle and was being pulled back, right back towards the position where he was initially on the ground. And then you can see Officer Martin circle around the patrol car. And I use the term almost stalking him, because he initially was on the ground earlier in the frames that you saw. You could tell Officer Martin was circling, trying to get in and do something to Mr. Nichols, whether he was trying to grab him or whatnot. Can't tell through the video. But finally, when he reached around the other side, meaning Martin, Officer Smith was positioned with a left hand, while Officer Bean had Mr. Nichols' middle section. That's when Officer Martin struck Mr. Nichols in the head or in the facial region. And then Mr. Nichols was directed by Officer Smith and Officer Bean off to the side as Mr. Nichols was starting to walk away. And then you'll see Justin Smith bracing his leg on the ground to stop Mr. Nichols, and that's when the tape ended.
All right. It has been argued, you've been here in court as an expert, it has been argued that Justin Smith was somehow holding Tyre Nichols' arm to his side to permit Emmett Martin to do what he did. You've heard that testimony or heard that argument, correct?
I did.
Based upon your expert analysis of this video and the actions of Justin Smith, is that true?
No, it's not true.
By the way, you see the two stripes, reflective stripes on Justin, his bulletproof vest?
Yes, I do see him now.
All right, you see the two reflective stripes?
I do.
What?
I do, yes.
And you also see Justin's left leg, left foot, is that right?
That's correct.
Does the positioning of Justin's rib cage and Justin's positioning of his left leg have any significance to you?
Yes, I believe he's being pulled forward
By who?
by Mr. Nichols.
Was that the last snippet you wanted me to stop?
Yes, it was, sir.
Now, as part of your expertise or your in evaluating these cases, do you direct, oversee, and have prepared animations for demonstrating to juries what was going on with specificity?
Yes, I have.
And in order to lay the groundwork, lay the foundation, did you do that in this case?
I did.
And could you please describe for the jury and for the judge, what is that process of taking what we've seen video-wise and turning it into specific animation?
Yes. What we try to do in those animations is take the original footage, such as the poll cam footage that we just watched, and take it by frame and superimpose it over an animated figure, and then rotate that figure in the same direction that the officer was moving into. So it's not just the made-up figure without a baseline. The actual figure that we're inserting over the image is taken off of frame of the body, either a body camera or off of the pole cam.
So if we see a pink or a blue figure that we haven't seen before, are those figures overlaid over the actual images on the video?
One on top of the other, yes,
All
sir.
right. With your honor permission, I'd like to play. Would it be helpful for you to watch what you had prepared to explain your positions to the jury?
Before we do, has the state seen these?
Yeah.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I don't want to argue with her. I want to go back and look for an email that I sent, but I'll be glad to take a break and show it to her.